ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, July 15th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We've got that open at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear comments in just a few minutes from Marshall head football coach Tony Gibson. The podium was his earlier at Sunbelt Conference Media Days, and so we'll get his comments on the team, and we'll hear a little bit from Carlos Del Rio Wilson as well. Coming up in about, 10 minutes or so, we've got Ryan Crisp joining us, as he usually does, on a Wednesday. We're going to get you caught up on everything that's happening with the Thundering Herd. Coming up at 5:30, Tyler Kennett, HD Media, will join us as he's on scene. He's enjoying, hopefully, a good trip to New Orleans. We talked to him yesterday, so he's going to tell us a little bit about what happened today at Sunbelt Conference Media Days. But until then, we'll get that text line open, and I'll give it to you one more time. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. The head coach himself, Tony Gibson, earlier today getting on the stage. And one of the more interesting questions that was asked of Tony, did he feel disrespected with the way that the coaches rated them third in the East Division? And Coach had a pretty straightforward answer. He wasn't disrespected at all.
No, I don't feel disrespected at all. We have to earn everything that we're going to get. Just like last year, we earned 5 wins. We should have won 8 games, 9 games, but we didn't. Again, that's my responsibility. That's my fault. And we have to fix that. I like high expectations. If nobody's talking about us, that means nobody cares about us. So, Marshall's different. They're used to winning championships and winning games, and that's why I took the job at Marshall. I'm not going to hide behind that. That's my goal. If we don't win a Sun Belt, I feel like I'm a failure. And so we're going after it. Our kids have that mindset. Our staff has that mindset. Our administration has that mindset. And I know our fan base does. So, that's why I'm here. That's why I took the job, and that's my goal. Can we get there now? Yeah, no better time than right now. I'm going to attack it, and we're going to try to win this thing and win every game. So, if we don't, then it's on me.
Well, to piggyback off what you said, I'm happy they did it. I love being an underdog. So if they picked us at that place, we're gonna see. We're gonna see at the end of the season.
I say the same.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
I say the same as Wody. I wouldn't say I feel disrespected, but just knowing the team that we have and seeing how hard that everybody works every day in workouts and in practice, it does kind of, make us look at it different. Like, all right, now we got to translate this hard work and hard practice to the game day field so that, we don't get third place, we get first. But I wouldn't say it's, disrespectful.
That was head coach Tony Gibson, followed by Daquan Smith and Carlos Del Rio Wilson on not feeling disrespected, but they have work to do if they want the league to acknowledge them. And it doesn't matter if you're picked third in the preseason poll, did you finish first is the thing that's the most important here for the Thundering Herd. Speaking of expectations, I asked Carlos earlier on the call, how's he managing all of the expectations? He's got a lot of preseason accolades, a lot of notice. So people are looking at him. People are expecting big things out of him when you put these lists together, you put these polls together. And how is he going about managing all of those expectations? And it's pretty simple. He's keeping the noise out.
I'm managing it by just not paying any attention, honestly. I feel like, the more you pay more attention, the more you get caught up in those things. So I try to just let them go over my head and not pay too much attention of them. So I still have that work ethic to keep driving every day and work harder instead of getting complacent because of these accolades and stuff and not working as hard as I know I can and need to.
That's Marshall quarterback Carlos Del Rio Wilson. And while we're talking about expectations, Coach Gibson was asked about, hey, what are those expectations like? What's it like between year one and now? And he he's pretty adamant. He wants to win. If you don't win a Sun Belt Conference championship, you feel like a failure, and that was the vibe coming from Coach Gibson today.
Yeah, to be honest with you, year one, again, there were times in January of last year that I had no idea how we were going to have a football team. We had lost everybody. At one point, we had 30-some kids on a roster, and I just wanted to have enough to play a game, to practice. We got through that. We built the best roster we could build in that time, and now transition into this year, we had a great core group of guys that stayed with us, guys that cared about the program, cared about each other, and our chemistry right now on our football team is as strong as any I've ever been a part of. And these kids believe in what we're doing. They believe in Marshall. They believe in each other, and that's what's going to help us, get better.
Coach Tony Gibson speaking with the media today at the Sun Belt Conference Media Days. We're going to hear more from Coach as well as Carlos Del Rio Wilson later on. But we've got an exciting show for you coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to hear from Ryan Crisp. We've got a couple of things to get you caught up with as far as your opportunity to go see the herd. Later on, Tyler Kennett's going to join us from HD Media. He is in New Orleans covering Sun Belt Conference Media Day, so we'll get his perspective, not just the Marshall perspective, but talking with a lot of coaches today. What's some of the things that he's kind of got a feel for, and of course he'll preview a lot of the things that he's going to be writing about. So he'll come on the program a little bit after Ryan Crisp, but don't worry, we've got plenty of time for you. 304-396-TALK. It's 304-396-8255 to be a part of today's show. That's our text line, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Ryan Crisp joins us when we continue on today's edition of Your Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Builders, renovators, organizers. Rent-A-Can portable restrooms and roll-off dumpster rentals is who you need. Whether it's a construction site, home cleanup, disaster relief, we've got you covered. Portable restrooms for convenience, roll-off dumpsters for waste. You fill it up, we'll haul it off. Fast delivery, easy pickup. Rent-A-Can portable restrooms, roll-off dumpster rentals. Rent-A-Can has the facilities you need. No job is too big or too small. Rent-A-Can. Call Chuck at 304-429-5218. That's 304-429-5218.
At home or at work, in the car or at the gym, there's nothing more convenient than the fast service and the quality products brought to you by Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee. If you're always on the go with family, friends, coworkers, and business associates, give Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee a chance. They have everything that you need, from filtration coolers, coffee for your work, at-home delivery, and 8-ounce, 10-ounce, and half-liter bottles, or by the pallet. Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee, where great taste just comes naturally. Visit us at tylermountainwater.com.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Dave & Sons, your place for American-made attachments for your skid steers and excavators. Located in Benton, Ohio. Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington. Over 40 TVs, hot wings, cold beer, and great daily specials. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 17th, it's Collins Career Center Night featuring William Matheny with Charlie Overman. The Little Caesars Kid Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for ONA. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kindred Communications. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this Wednesday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to hit that text line in just a few minutes, but first and foremost, it's time to welcome back to the program. Good friend, always glad to have him on. He is Ryan Crisp, and of course, Ryan is the bearer of good news at all times. He is also the Associate Director of Athletics, Revenue Generation. He's joining us now on the program. Never a bad time with Ryan Crisp. How do you feel about that? Never a bad time.
No, I think that's great, Paul. I think the good news is I get to spread the good word of the herd, so it makes it always makes it enjoyable to talk Marshall.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, it's talking season. You know what that means. The coaches are interviewing with the media today at media days, and so we're just one step closer to the start of football season. And the last time that we had Devin Miller on last week, and we were talking a little bit about season tickets. So now season tickets, you still have an opportunity to do that, but single game tickets are now on sale. And how has that gone so far, and what if fans need to know if they maybe sat on the fence?
Yeah, for sure. So like you said, we have season tickets. We have the mini plans. Today we did launch single game tickets, right? So if you can't make it to certain games, or you only need an extra ticket to a game or two, or you live far away, now's your chance to get tickets. We had a really, really good day. Our strongest first day of single game sales in a couple of years. So it was a good day for ticket sales. And I think the main thing is, right, the earlier you purchase, the better seat selection you're going to have. As we get farther throughout the process, more and more seats will disappear, and that includes for season ticket sales, right? Anytime someone buys a seat for a single game, that disappears as a season ticket because naturally it's gone for one of the games. And so no matter what kind of package you're looking for, now's the time to get in and to purchase those. And then as we get through the next, first couple weeks and into early August, you'll notice the map changes the color green, and it goes from a dark green to a light green, which is good news because that means seats are disappearing. And so always good to get on early, always good to purchase ahead of time, always good not have to worry about it later and know what you got. And so, yeah, single game tickets on sale now, obviously through the ticket office. You can stop by in person, you can give us a call, or, of course, as always, the easiest is herdzone.com to purchase your tickets online.
Would you explain just briefly for those that maybe haven't gone through this process yet? There's always an opportunity to get your ticket as soon as possible if you are of a certain level, and that means Big Green, that means season ticket holder. Can you explain maybe the perks of that? So next year, someone's deciding what they want to do, maybe becoming a Big Green member is a little bit more attractive, or becoming a season ticket holder.
Right. Yeah. No. Anytime we release tickets, there's usually a pre-sale for certain groups, and so the one we go to first is usually our Big Green members. Right. The foundation, the 501c3 dollars you give there help support our student athletes, help support athletics, make us have better products on the field, and that money is tax deductible. And so the Big Green Scholarship Foundation is where it all starts. So usually that group. We're able to provide a promo code for early access, which a lot of people took advantage of on Monday this year. So Monday we went on sale at 9 a.m. for single game tickets for Big Green members. And then the next crew we went to was season ticket holders. And so we saw a lot of sales there of people picking up extra tickets for homecoming or for the 75 game. The ones where family's going to be in town, or you need a couple extra tickets here or there. A lot of people took advantage of that early access and were able to get tickets around their season tickets, which is obviously a lot more convenient for them. And then today we went on sale to the general public. So anytime you're able to help support, and no matter where you are, the Big Green, membership starts at $100. You get a couple of free items with that, a couple gifts, and it obviously it gives you early access. It gives you some insider information and things. You hear things about things first. So it's always great to help support in that regard. And then in this particular situation, you would have got to purchase tickets 48 hours before the general public deal, which is obviously just better seat selection and not having to worry about it. For the away game tickets that we went on sale, we did JMU tickets, and we had to do it through a promo code for only Big Green and season ticket holders. and there was such a demand, the website actually went down for a couple seconds because there were so many people getting in. And so when we segment the target markets and they're able to enter at different times, it helps, lessen the load of the amount of people on the server at one time. So another advantage of joining one of those groups, right? You get to lessen the load and not have to worry about you being in the queue or spinning for a little bit and, be like, oh man, what's going on? Where's my tickets? And so, all those things add up. And like I said, we do it for football. We'll do it for basketball. We do it for select other games. For instance, we'll do that for the men's soccer game when they play West Virginia at home this year. Try to limit the amount of tickets that can get into Mountaineer fans' hands and try to get in as many Herd fans as possible. So we'll do that same type of deal for that game. And, that's one of those where you kind of expect it to almost sell out before you even get to the public on sale. So lots of advantages to join those certain groups and get the early access.
Now, I'm curious, and I don't want to get into the weeds too much because we got a lot more to get into, but how many season ticket holders, maybe aren't Big Green members, so because it feels like, you would automatically want to be a Big Green member and then be a season ticket holder.
Yeah, we have, it's definitely the majority are, somewhere sitting around 30% are season ticket holders, but not Big Green members. Obviously a much smaller percentage going the opposite way. And the people that are Big Green members aren't season ticket holders are those people that live out of state, Marshall alumni, but they live in, wherever, Tennessee, California, Virginia, Florida, whatever it may be. And so obviously they're, they support us, but just not from a season ticket standpoint. It doesn't make sense for them. So, about 30% of season ticket holders aren't Big Green members. And then on the flip side, I don't have the exact percentage, but it's lower than that. And really it's just, just where those people live and, how they're able to support with their dollars.
Okay, sounds like a great program. Hopefully everyone will take advantage of it. And so those are on sale now. And then we got Fan Day coming up on August 9th, and that really is a benchmark to how close we are to the start of the football season. What's worked for you in the past that's going to come back, and is there anything new for Fan Day that fans might want to be excited about?
Yeah, Fan Day, like you said, it's always the kickstart, right? It's always the first thing, like, okay, we're back. Here it is. It's August. School's a couple weeks out. Public school starts, I think, for elementary and middle high schoolers that next Monday. And so it's school's right around the corner. And so it's obviously an exciting time. This year we have a couple other public events before then that we'll talk about in a second, but it's one of your first chances to really meet the team for the first time for this year. And so Fan Day, we are adding a couple of new elements, little TBD on that, right? We have some stuff in the works that we're not ready to give anything away yet, but we're working on a couple of cool promotions to help draw some attention to that event. And we've always had great attendance at that event, but we want to keep adding to it. And so I do know that we're adding face painters and balloon animals and a magician to be on the field and elevate the experience there. Obviously all of our fall sports, just like every year, will be there. And the one thing that I love about Fan Day that's maybe different than other autograph opportunities or photo opportunities is every sport has a interactive station. The one that I think always is the coolest and the best is soccer. We'll put out a soccer goal, and the Marshall soccer players will get in and they'll be shooting PKs against little kids, or kids will have a chance to score on a Marshall soccer player. And so that's always fun. That always gets a lot of attention. There's always a circle forming around that area with all the fans watching and everyone cheering each other on. So Fan Day is one of my favorite events. It kickstarts the season. You can come there. You can purchase season tickets. You can join the Big Green. Probably the biggest promotion that we launched last year that turned out to be incredible. It got some national attention. I've seen some other schools that we work with and that we know kind of steal this idea from us, but you can, as a kid, you can come and you can design a T-shirt, and if your shirt is chosen, one of our teams will wear that for a warm-up shirt for the kids club game. So we did this with both soccers and volleyball, both basketballs, baseball, and softball last year, and it was incredible. We kept it a surprise from the kid. We contacted the parents and said, hey, can they come to this game? And when they got there, they saw that their shirt that they drew was the one that the team was wearing. We've had a shirt for the child to wear, and they got to hang out with the team for a little bit. Probably the coolest thing about that is our student athletes still wear those shirts every day. When I, walk around campus or I go to one of their practices or anything like that, I see them wearing the kids club shirts that they got to those events, which is super cool. But then obviously for the kid, it's a once in a lifetime and an awesome experience for them. There's even been a lot of people that said, man, I would love to buy one of those. We're even looking into if we could produce those and someone could purchase the shirt that the kid designed and drew up. And so that'll be your first opportunity. And for our fall sports, because of the timing, we really have to pick one of the shirt winners from that day just to get the T-shirts designed and back in time. And so it's a great opportunity for families to come out and let your kids draw a T-shirt, and maybe they're one of the lucky ones that gets chosen for one of the Marshall teams, for everyone on the team to wear that pregame as the warm-up shirt for the kids club game.
I enjoy those promotions. It reminds me briefly of, you remember the kid who made his own Tennessee shirt and he got made fun of, and then Tennessee was like, "No, we like that. That's cool." And so now everybody's wearing his shirt. I love things like that.
Yep, they mass-produced it, and it was awesome. And I think last year we had great feedback, and so we're excited about, like I said, that we've seen a couple other schools say that we're going to do that for this year. So it's something that it's always one of the greatest feelings from a marketing and from an in-game engagement standpoint when one of the visiting coaches or whoever is there from the other team, they email you or they come up to you at the game and they go, "Whoa, what's that? That's really cool." And we've had that multiple times with us where, they'll take ideas back to their people at their institutions and say, "Hey, Marshall was doing this and it was awesome and it was really cool." And so that was one that pretty much every visiting team that we played against was like, "Wow, that's one of the coolest things we've seen," for them to wear those shirts. And so we're excited about it. And Fan Day on August 9th at the football stadium from 6 to 8 that Sunday night will be kind of your first opportunity to get into this year's drawings for those.
Ryan Crisp is with us. There's a big event coming up in Huntington, actually the Huntington Mall. It's going to be a takeover. Tell me more about that. Does that mean we're going to have shopping sprees? What do we got going on?
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on, so we're excited to partner with the Huntington Mall this Saturday, July 18th from 10 to 12 at Center Court, which is the area right in between the food court and Dick's Sporting Goods. It'll be all Marshall. And so we're bringing our student athletes there. They will be there to sign autographs and take pictures and do all the cool stuff. But then also a lot of the mall vendors are getting involved. And I know Dick's Sporting Goods is going to have a setup. Dave & Buster's is going to come out and have a setup. Chick-fil-A is going to be passing out free ice cream and free French fries. And so it's going to be awesome. Pretty much every vendor at the mall is getting involved in some form or fashion to help support this. And so it's going to be great. And fans can come out, and we're giving away season tickets to some of our sports. And then the big grand prize is going to be a Tony Gibson signed helmet. So we're working with the mall on that. If you visit a certain number of stores on Saturday and come back to us, you'll be in the drawing to win the Tony Gibson signed football helmet. It's a full-size, legit game-worn helmet. And so an awesome prize, one of those prizes that you can't normally get anywhere else. And so we're excited for this Saturday at the Huntington Mall, Marshall Takeover, herd-themed everywhere, all the stores getting involved, and we'll be at Center Court from 10 to 12.
I'm glad you said full size because sometimes you see that bait and switch. It's a mini helmet. No, they want the real thing, and I'm glad you said that.
That's right. That's one of those that, like I say, you just can't get that anywhere, right? That's a hard one to get a hold of. This is a game-worn helmet that he signed, and we have, and we're bringing it with us on Saturday.
Ryan Crisp is with us, the Associate Director of Athletics, Revenue Generation, Marshall University. Anything else coming up that maybe you want to tease or hit before we let you go?
I think there's always stuff, right? Another event that we have coming up is the Cabell County Fair next Thursday. We will be at the fair from 7 to 8. Same thing, just a chance for everyone to meet the players. So if you plan on going to the fair or you're allowed to be out there or whatever it may be, we'll be at the Cabell County Fair from 7 to 8 next Thursday. And then, games are starting soon, right? Women's soccer, their first exhibition game, the first home event of the year for Marshall Athletics is that same day as Fan Day at 1 o'clock at Hoops Family Field. So the athletic season's getting started, it's getting kicked off. So time to, kind of get prepared for that, get ready for that, and move on from the summer vacations and start making sure you have all your things you need for herd athletics this coming year. Was
Ryan Crisp ever a 4-H kind of guy? Did you have anything like that in your background?
I did grow up in a small farm town, and so 4-H was a big part of it. And so my older sister was, my family was, but I never was. I never got into the old 4-H or the county fairs.
Well, some of the most interesting things I've ever seen came out of a county fair. So I hope that we see a lot more of that for you. But fairs are fun. I mean, fairs are fun, and just depends on where they have them. I've seen them at state parks. I've seen them at Camden Park. I've seen them at the Pumpkin Ground. So we definitely have a lot of cool fairs. And again, that's going to be next week for Thundering Herd fans. You want to go to the county fair and support their herd. Ryan, it's always good to talk to you. Sounds like that you're ramping up full speed ahead for Marshall Athletics, and I'm looking forward to the next few weeks because we're beginning talking season, and now that means we're time to get ready for playing season.
That's right. No, Paul, I appreciate the time, and go Herd.
There you have it. Ryan Crisp, everyone. Appreciate his time today, the Associate Director of Athletics, Revenue Generation. Tyler Kennett joins us when we continue with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Injured in a fall? Warner Law Offices is now here for you in Huntington on 4th Avenue across from the courthouse. Personal, local, decades of experience.
Call 345-6789.
Summer is here, and that means more motorcyclists enjoying West Virginia's country roads. When we're on the road, it's everyone's responsibility to keep each other safe. So, give motorcycles a full lane width. Check your blind spots and use your blinker when changing lanes. And allow more follow distance behind motorcycles because it takes them longer to stop. These simple rules will help keep everyone safe on the road. Share the road with motorcycles. This message is brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue with this Wednesday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Let's turn our attention back now to Sun Belt Conference Media Days. Tyler Kennett is back with us from HD Media. Day one is pretty much in the books. It got started early. Coach Gibson, when he was on the stage earlier, said, hey, look, I have 4 pages of notes. Let's cut that down. Let's get to the questions. That's kind of been the day today for you, I'm sure, as well, as we welcome Tyler back to the program.
Yeah, long day. I started at 8, so it would be 9 your time, and went until about 4. Yeah, so about one person every 20 minutes or so, a little bit of time for lunch, and then onto the stage and doing all that. So busy day, but I enjoyed it.
Of course, you were also doing a lot of the one-on-one, so not just the stage stuff. And a lot of that was streamed, so fans got a chance to hear and see some of that, and we've got some of those comments as well. But you went the extra mile. You scheduled an interview with everybody.
Yeah, every coach. I talked to Carlos and Wody, too, for the Marshall guys, and I talked to Commissioner Gill. So started with Coach Napier from JMU and with Coach Ronnie from ODU. So kind of went through the whole East today, and I'm staying tomorrow. And seems like I'm not, bragging about it, but, I don't think a lot of people are staying for both days. So that'll be exciting for my part of doing the job of planning to do a coach feature story for every coach in the Sun Belt, which is exciting. So I've had a lot of fun talking to everybody and getting to know everybody.
You were part of this conversation where it feels like the East Division, West Division are kind of two different conferences within the same governing body. Did you kind of get that feeling today? Hey, these are the East guys, and then tomorrow is going to be the West guys?
In the literal sense, yeah. There were some people mentioning the other conference, and there's a lot of excitement for Louisiana Tech and stuff like that. It came up a couple times and all of that good stuff. But yeah, to a point, a lot of the talk today was about hey, these are a lot of the East is so. I guess I hadn't really thought about this much, but it's kind of true when you think about it. A lot of the FCS schools in the past that jumped up to FBS and had some success are in this division within the Sun Belt. So that was some cool stuff to talk about talking about how people see the other teams' histories and stuff like that was very interesting. But maybe I'll have a more refined thought about that tomorrow. Just in the sense of like, yeah, nobody from the West was there today type of stuff, but there were some people who were like covering West teams that are closer by, and they're here for both days.
Tyler Kennett's with us, HD Media. He is covering Sunbelt Conference Media Days. Today was the East. Tomorrow will be the West. So anything stood out to you? Anything that came up that maybe is an interesting thread that you're going to be following?
Yeah, I was actually on the phone with my wife just kind of going through the day, and I felt like I had at least like one thing that I could pull from every coach. I don't have time to do that with you, I figure, but I talked to Coach Loggins of App State about Ryan Yurachek, who's on his staff, and how he came about, like seeing him as a coach and his progression and everything. So like a former Marshall guy that's doing some stuff. That was a lot of fun to talk to him about that, as well as, I talked to Coach Helton from Georgia Southern about like, his dad being a coach all those years, like what it was like to kind of, the way I put it was literally be born into it, and work and carry on that lineage. And even his son is interested in coaching. So it's like having that like family dynamic to it, and everything was very interesting stuff. It was cool to talk to Coach Beard for Coastal Carolina, the new head coach there, because obviously he coached Missouri State. So we talked a bit about like, once we got off the recording and everything, of like, hey, like, you were at that game? I was like, yeah. He was like, that game was awesome, and like going back, obviously for him it was, but like going back and talking through some of those games, like even Coach Loggins after was like, were you at that App State game? I was like, yeah, that game was crazy, and like some stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun, getting to talk to everybody. I felt like there was enough to pull from those like one-on-ones of like asking coaches how they got into it and what they take away from it and all that kind of stuff. That it's a lot of fun. I think I'm going to put all those out to where people could listen to them if they want to, because I tried to approach it with the sense of learning more about the person than the team, because the rest of it comes from the stage, and everything.
Tyler Kennett's with his HD Media. Speaking of the stage, pretty standard stuff today. We didn't hear anything that was earth-shattering or that was breaking news for the most part. And we got a few of those questions as well throughout the day. We played the cut earlier from Coach Gibson where he was asked if they heard he disrespected by being picked third.
No.
I loved his answer on that, because this team was fifth in the standings, and now the coaches think, hey, we think you're a little bit better than where you finished. And he had a great point, and I think some of the coaches as well have had great points. Nobody knows about really what you got coming back. Your team, and you're just trying to guess and figure out the other team.
Yeah, that's what Coach Ronnie was talking about. He's very adamant when talking about the preseason polls, because especially for Old Dominion, you think about the last few years. I think that someone asked a question to him about they hadn't been picked higher than fifth in the conference before this season, now picked second. And yet last year ODU goes on a 10-win season and is playing for an opportunity to go, potentially, who knows, do what JMU did and everything, So it's like the thought that he had is like, and I don't know how anybody does it with like picking the preseason teams. And I don't know if he's joking, but he seems serious of saying like, like he really doesn't feel like you can make a good poll until you're like 3 or 4 weeks into the season, to where you have a good grip on everybody and all of that stuff. And I think Coach Gibson put it well, of like, you have to deserve the spot that you're given and you have to earn it and stuff like that. I personally, I like, not to say that it was a crazy question to ask if it's disrespectful to say you're third, but like, you consider what you just said of like, you were fifth, you bring guys back and people respect that and they vote you third. I mean, it's like, it's hard to pick Marshall to go win the conference. Like my poll was out there that I did, and I didn't really put much thought into it, but I feel like you have to give James Madison credit until you can't anymore. And I think that's kind of like the sentiment that you get from a lot of folks.
One question that I had for Carlos, and we played that earlier as well, just how are you managing those expectations? And it seems like that's just something that's happening. He's there for business. I mean, he's having fun as well, but his journey has been so interesting. So he's used to the accolades. He knows what it takes to get to that point. He's seen it all go away and come back once he gets an opportunity. And it feels like that, okay, that's cool and all, but I got to go out there and grind. That was my takeaway from it when I asked him that question.
Yeah, that's kind of what I asked him too. Was like, your journey to get to this point, because I think that he has one of the better stories in the league right now. Of not only are you projected to do so well and expected to do so well, but there was a time when you weren't. And it's kind of that road of getting to this point for him. That's something to be proud of, and I think that it's very exciting for him to be able to share a piece of that, today with everyone.
It's been a busy day for you. What are some of the flavors of New Orleans, or some of the sights and sounds that maybe you're excited about seeing or doing or getting ready to do?
I had to do a little bit of work first. I don't know what I'm going to do today. Last night I actually ended up going around town a little bit, and the vignettes, trying one of those was really good. I met up with Dave Scholes, the podcast guy. Does he does a good job. I met up with him randomly. I didn't mean to at the casino. I watched him lose some money. He watched me lose some money, and next thing you know, we were hanging out. So it was fun to catch up with him, and I met some other people the people who cover Arkansas State, and Dave, the voice for Georgia State, had a good conversation with him. So a lot of hanging out, talking with everybody yesterday. I don't know what I'll do today. Probably just hang around for a little bit and get some work done and get ready for tomorrow.
Don't lose any more money. You work in media, man. Come on, you know better.
No, I didn't lose that much money.
Okay.
It was one of those things where you make money, then you lose it because your hubris gets the best of you. So I broke even. So
okay, just making sure. You're a married man after all. I don't want to I don't want to have to explain to your wife. Yeah, Tyler got some interesting dudes came and picked him up and took him away.
Yeah, right. No, my gambling days have not ever been like that. It's kind of a thing of I was like, let's bring out like $50, and if I lose it, I lose it, and then I ended up just using it to buy dinner, so it was fine. Nothing too crazy.
Playing around with money, there's nothing wrong with that. Tyler Kennett's with us, HD Media. So we've highlighted the East, and he's going to have a lot of stories and content for HD Media, the Herald Dispatch. Tomorrow is the West. What are you most excited about? Who are you most excited talking to, or are you just taking it in and letting it hit you as it comes?
I'm excited to talk to Louisiana Tech, obviously, to get a feel for the team and coach and players and see how they go. Excited to talk a little bit with that and kind of form not necessarily an opinion of the team, but just an expectation a little bit of how they feel they're doing and everything. I think Coach Parker from Troy, obviously, being like somewhat local in terms of where he's from and everything. I'm excited to ask him about that, like what it was like for him growing up and what led him into the roles that he has now. And they have a guy who was a first team selection, or one of the Sunbelt preseason teams. He's from Ashland, so I'll probably ask him about that as well. And they're bringing their punter, which is sick. Like that doesn't happen very often. So I'm ecstatic because I don't know why I'm like a special teams nut. Probably because I like soccer and everything, but it's like the concept that you brought your punter, and it's not a questionable thing. Like the guy is amazing. Like the preseason special teams player of the year and all that stuff. Be excited to talk with them about that and see what's going on there.
Hey, it's a flex. You got it, right? I mean, Marshall brings Carlos. That's a big flex right there. You knew he was coming. Bring the punter. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, they bring Donnie Smith, too, who's the defensive player of the year, so that's a pretty star-studded little lineup they've got coming.
Look, if you can't have the offensive player of the year and you got the other guys, go ahead and bring them.
Just bring them. Or bring the manager of the year, whatever, however many more awards you get to give out.
Our guest is Tyler Kennett. HD Media, day number 1, full day of coverage, Sunbelt Conference Media Days. Of course, he's going to be working on a lot of stories for the Herald Dispatch. What's the first thing you think we're going to see tomorrow?
So our deadlines have shifted. I think most people know about it. So for the sake of with the time zones and everything, we have a story coming in the paper tomorrow about Commissioner Gill and the one-on-one I had with him. And then it'll be online tonight, and I think it'll be in the paper tomorrow. It's all the Marshall coverage of, what they had to say. And then I'll do something of like one thing that stuck out to me from every coach that I talked to. And then we'll get into the rest of it, as the week goes on.
Tyler Kennett, everyone. Hey, man, thanks for doing this again. I know you've had a busy day. You're probably as tired, if not more, than Coach Gibson because he looked like he was ready to go.
I joked with him for a second. I was like, as they got you in a gauntlet, I'm going from because I went from 8 to about noon, every 20 minutes I had somebody. And he was like, I'm going from now until 3. I was like, okay, never mind. So I do not blame him at all for saying that he was getting tired of it, because I would too. It's probably a lot of the same questions too. So that's a lot of talking, I'm sure.
It is talking season. Tyler Kennett's with us, HD Media. You can read more at the Herald-Dispatch's website, or, of course, if you get the paper, you'll be reading more about it when it's delivered. Tyler, thanks for doing it again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Everyone, Tyler Kennett, HD Media. When we continue, we're going to get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 17th, it's Collins Career Center Night featuring William Matheny with Charlie Overman. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for ONA. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications. Going back to school is a big step, but you're not alone. At Collins Career Technical Center, your success is our success. From financial aid to career support, we're with you every step. You're part of a team of students on the same path, facing challenges together. And when it gets tough, we've got your back. Because when you succeed, our whole community gets stronger. Let's take the next step together. Visit collins-cc.edu to learn more. At Collins Career Technical Center, it's not just you, it's us.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Looking for a secure savings account? Come to Desco Federal Credit Union and explore our latest offers. With great rates and top-of-the-line personnel, Desco ensures your money for at least $1 million. Relax and put your money where you know it's safe and growing. Desco Federal Credit Union is located at 1211 Carter Avenue and other locations in Ohio and West Virginia. Stop in or go online. An account at Desco is just what you need. DescoFCU.org.
Shop from people that care about the bluegrass.
Fast, friendly, and ready when you are. Clark's Pump and Shop.
Hey, stop at Clark's before we hit the pool.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we care about the community. Download the Clark's Rewards app and save on fuel, snacks, and drinks all season long.
Clark's was a great call.
Cool off at Clark's Pump and Shop.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Ladies, prioritizing your health starts with Marshall OBGYN. From screening exams to disease prevention to management of reproductive problems, our team offers a complete range of services for women of all ages. Thinking about growing your family? Marshall OBGYN's physicians are experienced in providing you the support you need for normal or high-risk pregnancies in a friendly, family-oriented environment. Learn more at marshallhealth.org/OBGYN.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, it is Metro News Talk Line. You can comment about anything across the state of West Virginia or local issues affecting us here across Huntington and the area. You can do that tomorrow, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I don't want to get political, but hey, you want to talk to Dave about flock cameras? That seems to be the big buzzword here in Huntington. You can talk to Dave tomorrow. It's 10:06 right here, ESPN 94.1, AM 930. Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows. Our text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's go to the text line. Texter says, Paul, I don't hear anything from our coach, Chris Grassi, about the greatest game in the world. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want any of that heat. Did you see the final? Argentina beat England 2-1. Argentina comes back in the final 5 minutes and scores 2 goals. This was England's to win, and England just lost it. I don't want any of that heat from Chris Grassi. He's a Newcastle guy, right? No, I absolutely not touching that one whatsoever. Also from the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Yeah, I'm a hockey fan. Texter wants to know, compare any Stanley Cup championship to a FIFA. The difference here is the Stanley Cup, it's the award given to the winner of the National Hockey League. It's technically the Stanley Cup goes to the best hockey team of the year. And so it's right now within the NHL because it's regarded to be where the best teams are. So the Stanley Cup, in my mind, it's the hardest trophy to win year in and year out. In my mind, it's one of the most prestigious trophies because you don't get a replica of it. There's not like multiple Stanley Cups going on. You know, everybody's got one at their house. No, this is the Stanley Cup. This is it. And the rings get retired, and when the rings are retired, they're at the Hockey Hall of Fame. The Hockey Hall of Fame, of course, is a guardian of the game. You know, the game winner in the Olympics, well, that goal, that puck, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame. Because I think we've seen Team USA lose a couple of these things, but the Hockey Hall of Fame, you know, is the guardian of this. And so the Stanley Cup is a singular trophy, and it goes to the winner of the Stanley Cup final in the National Hockey League. I would contend that it's a different trophy because you're not competing as a country. Now, you might be representing the country you're in on the team you're on, but there are a lot of Americans on Canadian teams. There are a lot of Canadians on American teams. There are a lot of different nationalities in the NHL. And so this is, to me, it's for me, and I am only one voice, but it's more prestigious to me because it's very hard to win. And it's a singular trophy. Now, the FIFA World Cup, it's awarded once every 4 years. It's like the Olympics. And if I'm being told correctly, which seems to be the case, the world plays soccer or correctly football. The world plays football. America plays soccer, which, of course, is not a dirty word. It was what the English called it for a long time, soccer. I mean, it's not. Football came about, I think after the words. Again, don't question me on that one because I really couldn't give you the true answer. That's a little homework from me. But soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, the World Cup, it brings together once every 4 years a global audience of people following their country. And there are countries that can participate in the World Cup that cannot participate in the NHL or the Olympics in hockey because it's very different. It's almost apples to oranges because all you need is a ball, open patch of grass, designate where the goals are, and let's go. Everybody can play soccer. You don't have to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and get some gear. Just get a ball. Let's go. Same thing with flag football. Pretty much, hey, we're going to play backyard football. And the difference is that it makes it so easy for kids to play as children. All they have to do is find an open space. Here's a ball. Let's go. Let's play. And the world can play this sport real easy. You don't need an ice rink. There are countries that play hockey because they can play hockey. There are colder countries, Norway, Finland, Sweden, Canada, United States, Russia. List goes on and on. There are countries that prioritize hockey as a major sport. But for me, the Stanley Cup means more than the FIFA World Cup. But I'm coming at it at a different perspective. Soccer is not my main game. As a fan, as someone who played as a kid, not my main game. Hockey is. That and football. American football. Those are my main games. I lean towards hockey just a little bit more, but only as a fan because it's really hard to skate because you don't have that many opportunities to get on ice. And so hopefully that will change, in the coming years. It's something a little bit more widely available. The whole argument about, well, what's the U.S. got to do to get on level with Belgium and the Englands and the Frances and the Spains of the world? And it starts at the grassroots. I know there is some push to, hey, change the system. It's expensive to play. It's expensive to play soccer. Yeah, it is. The way it's set up, give these kids a ball, let them go, and make sure that talent is nurtured and discovered, and these kids are developing skills. I just don't think the way that the United States system set up works. In hockey, it's expensive as well if you're a parent trying to fund this. But really, you got an ice rink, let these kids be rink rats and go all day. And I think you see more success in other sports. It's not, hey, let's get LeBron James to go play soccer. Let's get our best. No, it's not that. It's just, it's skill more than anything. The athleticism's there, but you got to have the skill. You got to have the awareness. You got to have the ingrained understanding of the game. Wow. There we go. Stanley Cup for me, more prestigious. But I'll tell you what meant more to me? Winning that Olympic gold in hockey. All the Olympic golds in hockey, men's, women's, Paralympics, winning all the golds, representing the country, because that was something that kind of unified us all. Thank you for being a part of today's show. Hope you had fun. If not, we'll do better tomorrow. I think we'll have fun tomorrow as well. Have a great night, everyone.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.